When it comes to moving and copying your files here in File Explorer in Windows 8, there are some functions that will simplify your life when performing these types of tasks, and we're going to take a look at them now. Let's say, for example, we want to back up the files in our exercise files folder. I've selected it over here in the navigation pane. Really, you could work with any folder and any files if you don't have the exercise files. And if we wanted to back these up, it would mean copying them to another location. So all we need to do is choose that location. If it exists, we can do it all from one window. We don't need a second window. We don't need to click and drag selected files using a booster key like the Alt key to copy and not move. Don't worry about it. We can do it all from here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But first, we're going to create a new folder that we're going to copy these to. And it's going to be on the desktop. So let's click Desktop. Now we can go up to the ribbon, click New Folder. As long as the Home tab selected here in the New section, you can click a New Folder and just type in Backup. Notice it types right over the new folder name that appeared by default. Press Enter, and we now have a new folder on our desktop. It's empty. Now if we want to get the files from our exercise files folder into there, we just go back to the exercise files, select the ones we want to back up. If it's all of them, just click the first one, hold down Shift and click the last one. They're all selected. Notice there's also a Select All button up here in the Select section of the Home tab ribbon. So from here, with our files selected, we go back to the Organize section now and click Copy To. And if you see the location called Backup on this list, you would select it, but we don't. So we need to go down to the bottom and click Choose Location. And under Desktop is where you'll find Backup. We'll make sure that's selected. It shows up as the folder, and all we need to do now is click Copy. Now, it won't take very long. It's not many files. They're not huge. If they were, and it did take a lot of time to copy or back up these files, you might even see a pause button, an opportunity to pause the copy, go do something else to free up resources, and then come back to copying. And it's a nice little feature that's new here in Windows 8. But these were very quick. They're in the backup folder now. So what happens if we were to change one of the files in our exercise files and try to back up again? That's the real beauty here of File Explorer. So let's go back to the exercise files. And let's say we wanted to open up Swatch. Well, all we're going to do is right-click Swatch. We could use Open, which will automatically just open it up in a viewer. That's not exactly what we want to do. We want to work with this file and make a change to it. So as we move a little further down this pop-up menu, you can see we can open it with, there it is, Photos, there's the viewer. We could even choose the default program, but let's just choose Paint. So it's going to open up the Paint program, and there's our swatch. Now right now we can't see a whole lot of it. It's quite huge. And as we scroll down, you can see it really is just a swatch. So let's change the view here. We'll click the View tab, and let's zoom out. We'll click Zoom Out, 1, 2, maybe 3 times so we can see the entire thing. It is selected. You can see the handles around the outside. And let's say we just want to rotate this. So we'll go back to the Home tab, and we'll rotate it by clicking the Rotate drop down and choose Rotate Right 90 degrees. There it is. We've changed it. The Save button appears right at the top on the Quick Access toolbar. You could also use the keyboard shortcut, Control S. So we save it up. We'll close up Paint, and our file has now changed. So one of the things you'll see is the date modified has changed to the current date. All right, so if we wanted to back these up again, and we weren't sure which ones we had changed, which ones hadn't, we would select them all again. This time I'm going to click Select All from the Select section on the Home tab. And let's go back to Copy To, and we'll choose Backup. It may now appear here on the list, and that's because it's been recently used. So we'll click Backup, and all of a sudden this little message pops up. So it looks like we're going to be copying 6 items. The destination has 6 files with the same names. Do we want to just replace them all? Do we want to skip them? Not really. Or do we want to decide for each file? Let's go there. So we click Decide. And what you're going to see now is a list of all your files with checkboxes. On the left, we have our exercise files, where they're going to, the backup folder, over here on the right. We also have, at the very bottom, as we scroll through our files, looking at the differences. For example, here, Swatch, we can see has changed from the previous, changed in size, the date, and you can see it has been rotated, even looking at the thumbnail. So you can see that automatically File Explorer knows there are 5 files with the exact same name, date, and size. We can choose to skip those right from here. so we don't have to go through each of them manually, selecting the ones that we want to copy, for example. So we'll skip 5 files, and that leaves us with the only one that's changed. Perfect. So when we go over to the checkbox here, if we select both versions, the copied file will have a number added to its name. So which one do we want to keep? This is the one we want, the newest one. So we click Continue, and it replaces the older one. And you can see now we're up to date. Our backup is up to date. So that's just a couple of the new features built into File Explorer here in Windows 8 that will simplify your life when it comes to manipulating your files, like creating a backup using the copy function.